I'm so pumped, everybody. Like, I'm so excited with what the Detroit Lions are doing and the direction in which they are going. And I want to take a second in this video to talk about the draft. And I want to talk more specifically about the number 6 pick. And I want to just take you back to last year. I want to take you back to last year when the Detroit Lions had the number 2 overall pick. Remember, they won last game. None of us cared because we beat the Packers. And even though we lost the number 1 pick, nobody cared. Then we ended up getting the best player anyway. We ended up getting who we'd pick at 1, which was Hutchinson. I hope, because he was a much better player than Trayvon Walker. But that wasn't the question. Remember, as we were going in, I just want to bring you back there for a second. When we were going in, it was, are we drafting Walker? Are we going to get Hutchinson? It was a foregone conclusion he'd be gone. Are we going to get Thibodeaux? There was really no other consideration. Every once in a while, we talked about going nuts and getting a tackle. We talked about, oh my goodness, do you remember there was a moment where Malik Willis was coming up draft boards? There was a moment after his pro day. Oh no, what an awful mistake that would have been. But here's what my point is. We were focused on one position because we had one extreme position of need. It was edge rusher. We're not focusing on that this year. We're not focusing on that this year. And I think I'm reading this article and I'm just like, thank you so much. And it's ranking the Lions' best options with the 6 overall draft pick. And what you're going to see in this is so many positions, so much versatility, so much talent. And I want to tell you what I like out of this, but also kind of what my 2 where I'm leaning right now, 1 month out from draft. Not even. I think we're like 26 days away from the draft. All right. So first is your trade worthy up people, which is Will Anderson Jr. I don't think he's trade up worthy. I don't. And I've seen a couple of weird drafts where he's actually fallen. So I don't think he's trade worthy. But if he is there at 6, you draft him. You absolutely draft him. His pressure rate over the last 3 seasons has been out of control via PFF. So maybe he is trade up worthy. Anyways, next you have a quarterback. So now we go the quarterback route, and it's Anthony Richardson. All right, this isn't trade up worthy. This is just draft them where they are, I think. People are expecting Bryce Young and CJ Stroud. I might do a video on this. There are rumors that the Titans are trying to get the 3rd pick, which in that place would suggest that 4 quarterbacks might go before the Lions even pick, which is really good for us. We'll talk about that in a little bit. All right. But then you have your tier 2 elite talent, but questionable fit. All right. So that's Jalen Carter. At this point, we just did a mock draft. Chris, he would draft Jalen Carter if he could today. I always say we can't determine personality, so I'm not going to determine personality on Jalen Carter. Here's what I'm going to tell you about Jalen Carter, and I'm sure I'll do a video on this later too. I watched him play against Ohio State in the national semifinal. I watched some Georgia football. I watch more Big Ten football than SEC, but I like to watch some SEC football. Jalen Carter was gassed. Go back and watch that game. He was absolutely gassed. Him not being in great shape is not just a recent because of all the struggles thing. I think he struggles staying in shape when he's left to himself. If he doesn't have teammates right next to him holding him accountable, so if it's not a week by week getting ready for the game, he struggles with that. So there's 3 players listed. I'm not going for any of them. I mean, Will Anderson, yes, if he's there, duh. Now we have tier 3. So you start with the cornerbacks. Devin Witherspoon out of Illinois and Christian Gonzalez. A lot of people like Witherspoon because he's a gritty, tough corner, plays exactly like Aaron Glenn would like him to play. Aaron Glenn's going to be gone soon, ladies and gentlemen. If our defense is good this year, see ya. He's a head coach. He's almost a head coach when he had one of the last ranked defenses. Christian Gonzalez is my guy at cornerback, and we'll do videos talking about who we think is the best player at each position. We'll get into that kind of stuff. But Christian Gonzalez, for me, is it. He is so fluid. I mean, he is so fluid, it almost makes it look easy out there. You can say Witherspoon has that dog mentality. Okay, but what if Gonzalez has a dog mentality? He's just so smooth, it doesn't necessarily look at like it when you're watching it. We've seen this before where players, they do have a dog mentality. They're just smooth as can be. All right. He could be if Mosley's not ready, he could be almost ready day one. And then you have edge Tyree Wilson. There's two guys that I'm moving toward more and more and more. Brad Holmes loves long, lanky, bigger edge guys that you can move all around the line. He loves it. Hutchinson is one of them. Pascal is one of them. He has these guys that he likes to put all through the line. Okwara is one of them. Like, it's just what he enjoys. I think Tyree Wilson fits that. He even said, I love long guys. There you go. All right. He's one of them. What about the last one that's like, okay, this makes sense in tier 3 is Peter Skoronski. If you decide you want to keep building on that line, if you think that you are going to have to invest too much money into Jonah Jackson or into Taylor Decker, and you think you can find their replacement in the future, go Peter Skoronski. I understand that. I'm not going to be mad at that pick. I never get upset at building in the trenches. So defensive line, offensive line, either way, like, it's great. I just think offensive linemen are a little more easy to determine if they're going to be high quality or not. And when you draft an offensive lineman, usually you know to yourself, it's a decade career. It's a 10 to 12 year career. Put them there. You're good to go. On the left side, here it is. All right. Tier 4 outside the box picks. And here's what I want you to do as I'm reading through this. If you're getting bored by now, just think about how awesome of a position we're in. Think about what we've already talked. We've talked about corner. We've talked about edge. We've talked about defensive tackle. We've talked about quarterback. We've talked everything. And now we have a defensive tackle that also is kind of like an edge, and you can play him anywhere. And it's Kalijah Kancey. All right. If you go watch this guy's film, okay. I'm not making the comparison to a guy in LA. I'm not going to do it. Everybody does that. But he's really good. We have Demetrius Taylor already on the team, who is in UDFA. The difference between these guys is talent. It's just straight talent. Then there's a guy that I like. It's Myles Murphy. He's 6'5", 268 pounds, and his draft has taken a hit a little bit. If he is one of those guys that could hang around there, ooh, what a great pick for 18. And these are the outside the box picks, is because you think maybe Kancey, but he's on the rise right now. Originally, a lot of people thought him at 18, and now Myles Murphy has fallen, so maybe he's the one available at 18. Like, you can't go wrong with these guys. And then the final one is Bijan Robinson. Again, this is a pick 18. I don't think we need a running back, but here's the thing. You always need to be looking toward the future. DeAndre Swift, all signs point to him not being here after this year. But maybe he will be. I don't know. So now we've had how many positions covered? 5 or 6. How awesome is it to have a team where you can go anywhere? And then finally you have Will Levis. How he fits. He's a backup quarterback for at least 1, maybe 2 years. And then you hope that he's ready to take over after that. Like, this is a fun time. Over the next month, we get to break down each of these players. We get to talk about why they would work, if we like them, if we don't like them. We get to make our stake, make our claim. So be looking for these videos. Be looking. Each one of these guys is probably going to get a video by us talking about why they either need to be on our team or why we'd pass on them. And then we can all just be thankful that it's Brad Holmes making the decision and not us. But it's been so nice this year. It's been so refreshing. And I'll talk about this in another video. Just watching the GM just make smart moves, make the normal moves that he should. So it's been really, really fun to see. I can't wait to see what he does with the draft. And I know you can't either. It's not that far away, y'all. And start getting ready, because you know we're going live for that thing. All right, hit the comments below. Who would you draft out of all those guys? Who's your guy? And who wouldn't you touch with a 10-foot pole? All right, hit that subscribe button on your way to those comments. See you later.